Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Terry Harrington. I'll be speaking with Anthony Wing. He's the Executive Director of the International Symphony Orchestra of Sarnia and Port Huron. Today's show is sponsored by Semco Energy Gas Company. Well, here we are in the midst of fall, and that means a lot of new events coming up, and one of them is the annual International Symphony Orchestra of Sarnia and Port Huron's season is just getting underway. Anthony, tell us what's in store for this year's season.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me today. We are entering our 66th season.
Wow.
We began with an amalgamation of two smaller orchestra groups in 1958. So we still have a combination of U.S. and Canadian players. It continues to be a great example of cooperation between nations. This weekend we'll start our season 23-24. 10,000 Hours is the name of the season. And it will be with an all Gershwin program in honor of what would have been the 125th birthday of the American composer.
Wow. Now the orchestra is made up of musicians from both sides of the river. Right?
That's right.
How many musicians make up the orchestra?
Well, it varies from concert to concert. This weekend's going to be a big one because Gershwin, you know that he liked saxophones. So we'll have about 55 people on this stage.
Wow, that's fantastic. And to think that you've been around that long.
Yes, remarkable. I wasn't around when we started, of course. Yeah. But this week it'll be my fifth year. I'm 5 years in this role. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, of course, was a pandemic management. So we were lucky enough to have tremendous support in the Port Huron area, and in our catchment, which runs from Saint Lac to St. Clair. Our ancestral home, of course, is McMorran Theatre, and so we'll be playing the first show of the season there. And our last show last season was at McMorran too. So there will be 12 concerts. 6 per side.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And so they'll be every month now through the season, or how?
More or less, yes. Okay. About every 4 or 5 weeks. We have a bit of a longer break after the Gershwin, and then we'll do Messiah at the Port Huron High School Theatre. Mm-hmm. And then the crowd pleasers we'll do at the movies, where we feature the film scores in January. And then we do the Celtic Extravaganza in February. And then we have grown, thanks to community support on both sides, we have grown since the pandemic. And now we're doing the most challenging programming and becoming really the cultural hub and the highest ideal of music and art that these bridge communities have to offer. So we will be, and it's viewed as a really fun place for musicians, professional and the community alike, to play between London and Detroit. In March, we'll be doing the Shostakovich Fifth Symphony, and in April, the Rachmaninoff 2. So the Maestro Douglas Bianchi, who is a professor at Wayne State, has really been stepping up with the programming. And our thing with each other is just to constantly challenge each other. And the musicians really are excited about this year. And the 10,000 Hours is based on the theory that this is the time it takes between beginner and virtuoso. So with all these people on stage, we've got this weekend, I guess that's about 600,000 hours of practice.
Wow. That's great. Now, most of the musicians, are they from the Sarnia, Port Huron area, or are they surrounding communities?
All over the place. The Canadians, several from the London area, and the Michigan musicians, from the outskirts of Detroit all the way to Port Huron.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. And this is something that's kind of unique. I mean, we don't hear of one Detroit and Windsor or some of those.
No. They're well, we're semi-professional, but we've grown, almost an exponential thing. We're now trying to make sure that I don't become a victim of my own big ideas. The specialness of it has been acknowledged by the border too, because we're a charity and a nonprofit on both sides. So the musicians come and go, and with the Detroit and Windsor, it's a different situation because they're fully professional. Mm-hmm. Also very, very separate entities. We've been able to appealed to and served both the communities for all these decades. And I continue every time we go out into public. I continue to be so grateful to our sponsors and to our subscribers who have who helped keep us going during the pandemic and now beyond. Let us grow.
So the first concert is this weekend. So where can people...
I should plug that too. Yes, tickets. Yes, sorry. Yeah. I should add that we're going to be doing two huge Gershwin works. The Concerto in F and the Rhapsody in Blue will close the concert, and we have a piano virtuoso from Toronto who's doing both. So that's some heavy lifting. And for tickets, you can go to the ISO, so THEISO.org, for McMorran and for Sarnia. And if you dig the McMorran show a lot, you'll probably want to cross the bridge for like the next night. So a double shot of like the ISO, is in order here. And then we'll do Messiah. And one would hope that I can come on and and have a chat with you again, because it's very, very kind.
Well, we just want to thank you for providing such beautiful music to the community and really raising up the community because of that.
Yeah, I'm incredibly lucky to be working, in both Canada and in the great state of Michigan.
Okay. Anthony, thank you for telling us all about this year's season for the International Symphony Orchestra of Sarnia and Port Huron.
Thanks for having me, sir.
And we want to thank you for joining us on Spotlight.